Hi everyone, welcome. This is Kenneth Chu. Welcome to episode 32 of Mother Industrialist Live Show where we talk about entrepreneurship, parenting, and life. And in this episode, we are going to talk about how does chiropractic helps you in your motherhood journey. Today I have this really awesome guest. She's a speaker, she's a coach, also a chiropractor, and nevertheless, she's a mother of three beautiful children. And without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Sarah. Hi, Dr.
Hello.
Sarah. Hi, welcome. Thanks for
Thank you for
making
having
time.
me.
No problem. You are welcome. Really thanks for making time for my show. I know that you're really busy. You just got back from overseas, and you
Yeah.
really make time. And I'm really busy, and also to sort out the time and also the materials and stuff like that. Really thankful. Thank you for making time, and also really excited to bring you onto the show after our first meetup. It was really good to meet up, and a lot of inspiration. I guess we had about 2 hours of talk
Yeah.
back then. Yeah, it's really inspiring. Before we kickstart the show, there's a tradition where every guest get to post a question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So are you ready with the question of the day posted by the previous guest before we kickstart with the show?
I will do my best.
Okay, so the question of the day posted by the previous guest is, how would you ensure you stay on path with passion? So I repeat again, how would you ensure you stay on path with passion? Give some time to think about it while I go on to Facebook Live to see if you're live successfully and if our audio are good to go. Okay, cool.
Sounds
I'll
good.
come back to you. Okay, let me just check. Okay, sounds. Um, okay, okay. I hear myself. Okay, this is my portion. Okay, it's a bit lagging. Okay. Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, let me just see if I'm having anything. Okay. Okay, good. So, Dr. Sarah, are you ready with your answer to the question of the day?
I am, yes.
Okay, give it to us.
Well, first and foremost, for me, I'm very visual and
Hmm.
experiential. So anything that I have a passion about or a goal towards, I work with pictures. So I do probably a very common thing that a lot of people are familiar with is a dream board or a vision
Hmm.
board.
Yep.
And so a lot of times I actually have my kids involved with that and have them have involved a portion of the vision board that they want to see as well.
Hmm.
And so for me that's important because it's the ecology of the family. As a single person, being driven is very different than being driven with a family.
Yep.
And so the first and foremost thing I do is always keep that vision board ahead of me. It also helps me to see what the kids are striving for so that I know
Hmm.
I'm helping them get their goals. And then secondly, it's every single time something comes into your life because it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be a distraction. I'm always asking myself, is this taking me towards my goal? Or is this taking me away or even sideways?
Hmm.
But really just keeping myself in check so the path is clear,
Hmm.
clear of obstacles and clear of any sort of distractions because there's always a lot of shiny objects out there.
Yep.
And it's always just checking in with the family and seeing how what we're working towards is really affecting us as a family.
Wow, wow. So you mean that you do the vision as a family with your kids, and
Mm.
that's how to keep you in path, and they are also accountable for it, like their accountability partner are your kids.
They are, but they're accountable to themselves. So my
Hmm.
4-year-old, about a year and a half ago, had picked a picture out of a magazine, and I didn't coach him or anything, and it was a picture of a destination somewhere in Greece. And he said to me, "Mommy, when I'm 20 and I can go by myself, I'm going here." I said, "Okay."
Wow.
So I took that picture out, and you can bet, that's in my drawer, and I'm going to keep that.
Hmm.
So he will always
Oh.
have that as a vision for himself.
That's good. That's good. That, that
Yeah.
that's that's a very good way, and also to be on path. and also to keep our passion going also, not just for ourselves, also as a family with our children, our kids. So that's a very very good start, and now we can officially kickstart with the show. So
Yay.
I see there's some people coming on live. Maybe Dr. Sarah, you can maybe say hi to them, and thanks them
Hello,
for coming on.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. I look forward to seeing some of your questions and how we can help answer them.
Yes, that's awesome. So maybe before we start, maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. What were you doing prior to you start setting up your business, and also what were you doing maybe in the beginning, and where are you from, and what's your background like? You can share with us so that the audience get to know more about you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very long introduction, but I'll try to
Yeah.
keep it very short. So thankfully, I've been blessed to be in Singapore for 13 years. And I really came here as an adventure. I'm from Canada and I was looking to do a 2-year contract. So I started by working for somebody else. And I was really afraid of actually having a business. I never wanted to work by myself. And so the contract finished, but I loved Singapore and I didn't want to leave. And so the only way to stay was to start my own business. So in a way, you can say I was kind of gently or strongly forced into my own business. And so, and, I have a lot of background in sports and athletics and really helping people to stay healthy and fit. And so I saw that there was a great need for that in Singapore. And that's what made me want to continue to stay here.
Wow. So you were saying that so you set up your business before you became a mom or after you became a mom?
I set up my business before I became a mom.
Mm.
I was engaged at the time. I wasn't even married, and so my fiance was the one who really encouraged me, and
Mm.
he thought we could do it. And he's like, hey, "We're in Singapore. What's the worst that can happen? At worst, we go home to Canada." So, it was one of those like, let's just try, and it was very much on a wing and a prayer.
Mm.
Everything happened very quickly. I had an agent call me on a Friday. There was a unit available by Sunday. We had to get it by Monday. I didn't have the money. All of a sudden, a friend of mine sold their house in UK and lent me the money. Like it was very, very fast. And then it took off. It took off from there.
That's good. So so you were already practicing chiropractic back in Canada, or you only came over to Singapore to do that?
I practiced for about 2.5 years, so in
Mm.
Canada and then the US. And I had
Mm.
always known I wanted to go overseas. And
Mm.
so while I was in school, I was looking at opportunities in Australia and Asia, even the UK. But Canada is very cold, so I wanted to keep coming to the further east, somewhere warmer,
Mm.
which brought me to Singapore.
Wow. So in what makes you wanting to learn chiropractic and even to study and pursue it as a profession?
Wow, that's a very good question, actually. As a student, I was actually very much headed on a medical train. And I
Mm.
had studied pre medicine. I was taking all of what we call the MCATs, which is an exam you have to take in North America for
Mm.
medical school. And I had a very serious car accident and I wasn't able
Oh.
to walk for 6 months and had headaches, like
Mm.
blinding migraines for about 6 to 8 months. And so I would see my doctor regularly. I had my medicine. And after about 3 to 4 months, he just said, this is the best I can get you. But I
Mm.
had no life. Like I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't work. I had to quit my job. And so he just handed me a card of a chiropractor and said,
Mm.
I don't know if it works, but my other patients get some success. So why don't you
Mm.
give it a try?
Wow.
And so I went to this man and I had no faith. I didn't know what the profession was about. And in fact, I think at one point I was very scared when he was going to try my first adjustment. And I stood up and I was very scared. But through the adjustments and working with him and rehabilitating my body, obviously I came back to full strength. And I
Mm.
just remember thinking, if I could do this for somebody else,
Mm.
this is why I need to be in this profession.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
After you say that, I'm having goosebumps because that and that's why I can see the passion in you in when you talk about chiropractic, and because when we first met up, I was you never shared on this part why you
Mm,
became a chiropractor. All I know is you are very passionate about chiropractic. Even now you became a mom. You are
mm,
sharing a lot of with pregnant mothers and also children, and that's also bring us to the topic of the day. How does
mm,
chiropractic helps me in my motherhood?
mm.
Not me, but for you, for most of
Yeah.
the mothers. So that also like how does like now we understand that it's because of your own incident that you came across chiropractic and it helped you to regain, I would say, back to life, and also back to do the things that you wish to do. And also now you're paying it forward. Being a chiropractor yourself, you pursue the studies. Although you were in medical, but you pursue into chiropractic, and because you're
Yeah.
really passionate, because someone had helped you, and you're paying it forward to help a lot of maybe a lot of people out there that are having the similar problem like you. And how does being a chiropractor help you in your daily life? And apart from you doing as a profession, and what and also especially as a mother, so what has it helped you in being a chiropractor, and also in your daily lives as a mother at the same
Well, any first time mother can tell you that it's pretty scary.
time?
You don't get a user manual with your baby,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter how old you are when you have a child. There's so much information
Mm,
everywhere. And a lot of times that doesn't allow us as moms to really tap into our instinct
yep.
and listen to our child and read our child and understand what's going on with them. And so I had been in the profession already for about 6 years prior to having my first son.
Mm,
And it honestly changed my life becoming a mother and still being a practitioner.
mm.
So, on the practitioner side, I was able to have more patience with my patients, more patience with the body and its ability to heal, and everybody's
Mm,
different. And then also, as being a mom, I was able to really understand that the growth and change in a body from birth to childhood is
mm,
immense. That first 3 years is so intense. The brain is growing at a rate that's just astronomical. And so, how much you have to learn between 0 and 3 is probably the equivalent of what the rest of us learn for the rest of our lives. And so, watching my children grow and helping to implement some healthier lifestyle
mm,
choices is really what helped me as a mom be more confident in letting
mm,
their bodies do what they need to do. So, for example, when my first son was 11 months old, we were flying back from Canada
mm.
and he had a 40 degrees Celsius ear
Wow.
infection,
Oh,
right? Double ear infection. So you're in the air, it's a 30-hour flight. And what are you
wow.
going to do? What are you going to do? You're not going to, you don't have an A&E, you don't have a KK
Yeah.
to run to, So I was able to keep him breastfed. So he was able to keep his fluids, and I was adjusting him regularly. By the time
Mm,
we touched down, the degrees had already come down to about,
wow.
38.
Mm,
And then because it's already like 2 in the morning. So we landed, came home, he was settled. He wasn't fussy, still eating and drinking normally.
mm,
Next morning, temperature had come down to 37, and it
wow.
stayed that way. And so, I was still first time mom, still a little bit scared. And I went to the doctor and she checked him out and she said, well, yeah, he had an infection, but there's no point in giving antibiotics because it's gone now.
Mm.
So, and I just followed regular care with my children to where they now tell me, Mommy, my tummy hurts. Can I get an adjustment? Or I fell down today at the playground. I need an adjustment. So my
Mm.
kids tell me now when they need their adjustment.
Wow, it's really amazing that because through that 30 hours of flight, and you because of the skill that you have as a chiropractor, you're able
Mm,
to help them to ease the fever and comes down. And even you go after you went to a doctor, because there's no medication at all, you will not be able,
no.
you're not
Yeah.
even, it's basically drug free.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not drowsy and all that stuff, just that they are
Mm,
in not comfortable, I would say,
yeah. Yeah.
in that 30 hours. And you still can go back home and everything was good because the fever came down. That is, I guess, so like for parents, like for me, I have a 9-year old. When she was young, especially in the first 3 years, she kept having fever, infection,
Mm,
inflammation, and all that stuff. And that is what a lot of parents are going through, especially in developed country, in Singapore. A lot of my friends are, every time I will see them checking into KK hospital, their children having fever and long
yeah.
queue and all that. But if let's say they would know that there's another way out, like chiropractic
Mm,
will be able to resolve it. And that's the reason why when I met up with you, and chiropractic is something like a myth to us, like
mm.
we always think that chiropractic is about cracking and twisting and stuff like that. So but after I met you for the first time, you shared with me another perspective of chiropractic, and maybe you can share with the audience out there, especially the mothers, like chiropractic is not just like twisting, just turning and stuff like that. Maybe you can
Yes.
share more on that.
Well, thank you. And that is also a great question because Yeah, definitely little bodies. We're not twisting or cracking of any
Mm.
variety. But as a chiropractor, I'm specially trained for pregnancy and pediatrics.
Mm.
So, and really the goal isn't about making a popping sound as much as we're helping the brain be able to talk to the rest of the body.
Mm.
So, in that first 3 years, because there's so much neurological development, you have to consider the coordination to stand
Mm.
and walk and then eventually talk. Most of us don't get skills like that again,
Ah.
so
Mm.
massively in our life. And so the body really, if there's any blockage anywhere, the brain isn't able to talk to that part of the body well. So as a
Mm.
chiropractor, my job is just to remove the blockages and let the brain talk to the rest of the body so that healing can happen. And I
Mm.
think one of the biggest myths for parents is that fevers are bad.
Yeah.
Fevers are fantastic. We love fevers because it's your body's natural defense mechanism.
Ah.
And so, my kids and I used to play a game, and well within a healthy range. But if their fever was between 37.5 to about 39, we
Mm.
have what we call a fever pool. And so on my
Fever pool.
patio,
Wow.
yeah, on my patio, I'd put a little cooler or a pool with some,
Uh-uh.
temperate water, and they
Mm.
just get in and out of it as they wanted. And as long as they were playing well and they were eating well and drinking well, they're
Mm.
perfectly healthy with their fever. And the fever went down naturally, and they never ever had to have antibiotics because it's your
Mm.
body's natural way of fighting bacteria.
Wow. So you were saying that like for you like having fever is good, but is it because of the knowledge that you know, or is it something that is very common to a lot of medical practitioners like in the medical industry? Is it normal?
Um, I think most practitioners who are well informed and well
Mm.
versed, so probably a little bit younger, maybe not
Mm.
on the older side, would say
Ah.
that a fever to a healthy degree is actually quite healthy. Now, of course, we want it to be able to come down, and we don't
Mm.
want it to stay on for
Yeah.
days and days and days.
Mm.
But
Mm.
if you rush in every time they're just over 37.5, you're not allowing their body a chance to actually fight the infection. And those
Mm.
first few years, that's how their immune system builds.
Ah.
They're
Okay.
being introduced to all these new things in the environment. The
Mm.
fever fights it, but now they have their natural immunity. So if
Mm.
you're always giving them medicines to stop that fever,
Yeah.
then the body doesn't have a chance to build up the
Ah.
natural immunity.
Okay.
Hmm.
So in that case, it's also um how should I put it because you were saying the first 3 years very important, and
Yeah.
also having the fever it helps to build up the immunity, and maybe
Mm.
that explain why there's a lot of children, especially when they go to childcare and even primary school, they are so prone to a lot of diseases,
Mm.
viruses, because the immunity did not build up. Because us as ancient parents, as very ancient parents, we tend to be worried, over worried,
Mm.
and immediately we see, oh, they are hitting 37 or sometimes 38. We'll just bring them to the doctor. Then the
Yeah.
doctor will just bring the temperature down with medication and all that. That prevents them from growing, I would say, naturally in the natural
Yeah, just
process.
it can halt the natural process of
Mm.
immune building. And I heard the same when I sent my children to student care and
Mm.
childcare. But my kids, not more than normal, they didn't get that sick, and so I thought, oh, okay.
Mm.
I heard they were supposed to get very sick. What happened?
So
So
is it also help because the immunity is hot in the initial first 3 years because of us being ancient parent, we are so careful with them having fever, slight fever, we will just bring them to the doctor, and it just hot, and also explain that why kids are more vulnerable to hand foot mouth disease. Does it plays a part also because of the immune system and hand foot mouth disease come in? Do you
it
feel
it
that?
can. Yeah, it
Mm-mm.
definitely can. I think the biggest thing that chiropractic does to help the children is
Mm.
even if they get sick, they get better faster because their immune
Mm.
system is stronger. So a lot of times I'll have parents bring kids in once a month just for a checkup,
Mm-mm.
so that especially if they're starting to get sick, so they know they get better faster and it doesn't last for months on end.
Mm. Okay. So you were saying that you specialize in pregnant mothers and
Mm.
also in the pediatric side. So is there a difference between a normal chiropractic versus a chiropractic that specialize in pregnant mothers and maybe in children, babies especially?
Well, it's similar to a general practitioner versus an OBGYN or a pediatrician.
Ah,
We've taken extra training and
mm,
we've taken extra education in order to provide better care.
mm,
And so that's why I always say to people, just make sure you double check with your doctor if they're comfortable and if they've been trained in this area.
mm, mm,
Like my specialty isn't necessarily, I don't, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe
mm,
somebody who does a lot of, extra mouth exercises for speech problems. Okay, so that's not my
mm,
specialty. So I would send them to somebody who does that, right? More of a
mm.
speech therapy type
Yep.
of specialty.
Mm. So, like when you say for pregnant mothers, how does chiropractic help them? Because I've learned recently I just organized a workshop.
Mm,
She's a birth doula. She's also into hypnobirthing, and she shared
mm,
that in fact chiropractic can help when pregnant mothers are facing this breech position, the baby in the breech
mm,
position, and chiropractor can help them to assist them, I would say, in the
yeah,
natural birthing and all that stuff. So
yeah.
maybe you can share more that how does chiropractic help the mothers, especially conceiving, expecting, and also even during the delivery. You can share more on that.
Sure. Okay. So first of all, if you look at sort of not to get too scientific,
Mm,
the anatomy of the low back and the nerves that come from that area, yes, it goes to the muscles, but it also goes to all your organs in the front, some
mm,
of which are your female organs. So it can help to assist with fertility in times if some ladies
mm,
are having difficulty because it's
mm,
allowing the brain to work better to get to that
mm,
area. But for the average person, they usually think of chiropractic for back pain, and
mm,
so sometimes women do have back pain or leg pain or nerve pain in
mm,
pregnancy, and for whatever reason, they assume that's normal, and it
mm,
doesn't have to be. So chiropractic, the way it works is it really helps the body to be in its best balanced
mm,
position,
mm,
allows the baby to develop and grow best and
mm.
be in a good position. So I know in Singapore, natural birth isn't the most common route. Um, and so sometimes we're not thinking that way. So people don't even imagine
Mm,
about breech or malpositioning because they know they're just going to have a cesarean section.
yeah.
But either way, even if you have the surgery, your recovery time is a lot faster if you've been adjusted during pregnancy.
Mm,
So, because if the body is balanced, the baby comes out easier, the doctor's not causing so much tugging and tearing and ripping, and
mm,
then your body recovers faster because it's in the right position. And
mm.
so, what it does is when we do the adjustments for you, they're very gentle and they're very specific to the pregnant body. Um, and loosening the ligaments and allowing the pelvis and everything to work together as baby
Mm,
grows and as you get more pregnant, tummy gets bigger.
mm. So it's also like getting them ready for this whole process of expect pregnancy and also giving birth, right? Like
Yeah.
alignment of the spine, and also that means
Yeah.
chiropractic can assist them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and if you do choose to have a natural birth, it does tend to help the birth be faster,
Mm,
smoother, and with less difficulty because everything is in the right position.
mm.
So, I mean, I've had some patients. Now, this is very fast, so I would not recommend it. But one of my ladies just recently, a year ago in
Mm,
December, she started having contractions at 2:50
mm,
p.m. So they were coming on strong, and it was her second child, so she knew in general her pregnancy or delivery was about 6 hours.
mm,
So they got the taxi ready, they packed the bag, and by 3:10,
mm.
she was about to walk out the door and felt the baby coming. So they
Wow.
literally had to turn around and she had to deliver in her living room, and that baby was
Mm,
out by 3:30. So
wow.
in 40 minutes from the first contraction to delivery. So not that we recommend this. But yeah, so it can help deliveries to be smoother and faster and with a lot less difficulty or pain.
Was her doing any chiropractic before the first birth,
Yeah.
or only for the second birth?
So she did chiropractic before the first birth because she actually had a hard
Ah,
time getting pregnant. She couldn't
mm,
get pregnant for 7 years. And after doing a year and a half of chiropractic, she got pregnant and then again within a year and a half. So
mm,
she was already doing adjustments for the first birth, which happened within 6 hours. So
mm,
anyone who knows your first labor, 6 hours is very fast for a first
mm.
child.
Yeah. Wow, that is very, very good information, especially for mothers who are fearful. Even for me,
Mm.
when I know about chiropractic, and it always come to us that you have to crack here, twist here and there. So does it happen every time, or it depends? Like,
The cracking, or which
Cracking and yeah.
we always do an assessment of the spine on the day because everybody's different and our body
Mm,
is very fluid, right?
yeah.
It's if it was the exact same thing every single time, then the body is not changing. So we always assess the body, and the area that needs to be realigned is the area we work on. Now, with
Mm,
pregnant moms, there's rarely any cracking because we're doing very gentle techniques. It's something called
mm,
Webster.
mm,
And so it's really a more gentle motion through the pelvis and release of the ligaments than it is about cracking.
mm. So you were saying that so it also helped them to because it adjusted everything on the line, and especially
Mm.
the pelvics. So after giving birth, do you also suggest that they also have to do chiropractic again after they
Uh,
gave
some
birth?
some moms do, especially if there's
Mm,
been a cesarean section involved, because
mm,
you've had a lot of medicine and you haven't controlled your own muscles in your body. And
mm,
so a lot of times that first few weeks of lifting and feeding the baby can change things a bit. So a
oh,
lot of moms come in for a checkup.
mm,
And of course, with breastfeeding, then mommies have neck and shoulder problems because they're holding baby and
I
breastfeeding in the middle of
see.
the night. We're very tired.
Mm,
So I always recommend getting a checkup to make sure things are working well.
wow. So how do we differentiate between like the alignment that is off, that's why we're having the pain, and versus muscle pain? Is there any diff?
Well, it's regardless of who you see, whether it's a general practitioner or
Mm,
acupuncturist, at the end of the day, if you're feeling discomfort and it's
mm,
coming back more than once, something's happening, even if it
um,
is muscle, because the
mm,
muscle is working with the nerve and the spine. And so they're
mm,
all interconnected.
okay.
And so sometimes people will say, oh, it felt like a muscle pull from like last
Mm,
time when I was
yeah.
at the gym. But they don't realize it's a bit of a deeper injury because now it's involved the blockage of the spine as well.
Mm, wow. And that I would say that there's a lot of myth that is in the market, especially in Singapore particularly. We see a lot of chiropractic clinic. They're having road shows. They always wanted
Mm,
to scan your spine and tell you the areas that you work on and stuff like that. So what because a lot of time is coming from a marketing point of view that it makes you
mm,
get it cracked, get it aligned. But it seems that knowing like after meeting up with you, you share with me that chiropractic is about the nerves, the communication to the brain. Even you're like
mm,
you have headache, sometimes you have backache, even
mm,
uh, maybe you felt that your back is uncomfortable.
mm.
It's always not about the cracking. You don't really need to do that. It's about understanding whether is it aligned, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the body works as a beautiful machine. It's like
Mm.
beyond a Lamborghini. And so you want to keep it finely tuned and
Mm.
it works together. And I think a lot of times, if you have shoulder pain or knee pain, people don't know that they're actually could be potentially associated because
Mm.
something is often not working well. So,
Mm.
cracking can happen at times. My job really is to make sure how is the body all working together and how
Mm.
is the brain able to communicate with that. And then
Mm.
we work with tools to help you keep things going well at home.
Mm. Mm.
And then we release the body. So there may be some adjustment involved, but it doesn't always adjust with, let's say, a crack.
Mm, okay. So that does like coming to chiropractor helps like one time, or it has to be continuous, consistent, or like every month. What, but
Mm,
especially for someone who have not been through done chiropractic before.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, it depends on the person's initial condition when they come
Mm,
in. So actually, just 2 days ago, I had a lady come in. She does CrossFit, she does yoga, she's very healthy in her eating.
mm,
And she's like, I have no pain. I just want to be checked out. And so, there's a few imbalances because she works on a computer. And so
mm,
she may come 3 or 4 times and then may follow up, let's say every 2 to 3 months.
mm,
And like some babies that I check, let's say after birth to make sure
mm,
they're okay, they're in perfect balance. Like they're beautiful.
mm.
It's sometimes it's an amazing experience because it's literally like a gift from God that this new
Mm,
baby has been born. And so, you don't need to check them again for another month or so as they then develop and grow differently and start to crawl and roll, right?
mm.
So it really depends on the condition that you come in with. Unfortunately, sometimes people come to me as a last resort
Mm,
and
yeah,
say, "Oh,
which is very common.
I have surgery scheduled next month. Can you please, fix
Do
40
something.
years of problems?" And so, of course, one session for that kind of person probably would
Mm.
not cure everything.
Yeah, yeah. And just now you pointed out something that it's always the case that everybody goes to maybe a practitioner or maybe even doctor or specialist whenever things happen, whenever they
Mm,
have something major or maybe an injury that is coming back and stuff like that, and they start seeing people. What
mm,
if someone who felt I have nothing wrong, there's not,
mm.
it's like I'm not having knee pain, back pain, and stuff like that. Do you do do you think that they should also maybe do chiropractic, maybe, or maybe seek a chiropractor, for example, if they don't feel
Yeah.
anything? Do
I
you think?
always recommend just having a checkup. So
Mm,
having a checkup will let you know kind of where you are in
mm,
balance. And depending, with our lifestyle these days, being on computers
yeah,
or walking a lot or driving a lot,
our
there's
smartphone.
smartphones, there's definitely periods of time where our
Mm,
body's in the wrong position for a long period. And
uh,
that tends to cause that imbalance. So
mm,
having the checkup kind of just lets you know where you are at. And if your baseline is okay or good, you'll get some recommendations and then you're along your way.
mm.
So it's always easier for me to help you if you don't have pain than if you're coming when you're already been in pain for a long time.
Mm. And you touch on a very important thing, which is like the lifestyle that we're in. Sometimes we are so it's so habitual. We
Mm-hmm.
do this, like maybe like my daughter say, the tech snack. Like most people are having the tech snack because
Yeah.
of the mobile phone, the smartphone, and their posture is not right, like almost 90 degrees to that. So I guess that even if we don't feel pain, it may be may lose alignment, right? I would say that
Yeah, and a
we
lot of
don't feel.
times, yeah, you'll have other things like you get tired easier, or you lose concentration faster,
Mm,
or you don't have the same stamina that you used to.
mm, mm.
And those are all symptoms that you're not getting that
Ah,
full communication.
mm,
And so pain can come and go as a signal, but it's
mm.
not always your best indicator, unfortunately.
Okay.
Similar to having, like, that athlete a few years ago at
Mm,
the Bin Tan triathlon,
yeah.
or the one even here in Singapore who passed away because after the swim. He was a
Mm,
triathlete, and then it turned out
yeah.
he had heart problems, but he never knew because there was never a symptom.
Mm,
So, things that are really underlying that don't have pain, you may not
correct.
know necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot for clearing that, and also letting more people know that that it does not mean that when you have problem then you see someone or even see a
Yeah.
chiropractic. And also maybe coming back to you is you shared that you have like built businesses and also successfully sold it off, and now you are back in like doing mentoring, coaching for
Mm,
people who are in wellness. So
mm.
how does that come around? Like
Well, my beautiful fortune is the first clinic I opened. I ran for 8 years. And then when I had my third child, my daughter,
mm,
I couldn't work the number of hours. So, wonderful about having your own business is that every child I had, I could bring to work for 6 months. So I could still feed. They were there. The patients loved to meet them. They're crawling
mm,
around the practice. So by the time my daughter was born, I wanted to spend a bit more time at home. So I sold that practice.
mm.
And then I just spent time with her for about 18 months at home. But I had a lot of people asking, what do I do here? How do I get this practice going? How do I get going here? And my passion is to make sure wellness practitioners have the tools to really get their message out there so that
Mm,
there's more people in our community being healthy. And
yes.
so that's sort of what started the mentorship
Mm,
and the coaching in that regard. So I'm helping a lot of different practitioners. I've had a couple of acupuncturists,
mm.
naturopaths, osteopaths, where we just really help their practice to grow and get their message out there clearly.
Wow. So
Mm.
you mentioning that is does not matter which practice they are from, as long as they are in wellness and health. Do you
Yeah,
just
so my paradigm is obviously as drug-free as possible, as natural
mm,
as possible, allowing the body to heal. And I even moving to Singapore, I found that message is still very new here.
yes.
I had an assistant one time who used to give Panadol when her daughter's fever was
Yeah.
37.4. So I often said, "Have you just helped her to take her clothes off and cool off a little bit?" So the message isn't there yet, and so to me, it's working with practitioners who have a sort of
Mm.
drugless, natural
Ah,
mindset.
mm-mm.
Hmm.
And that is also something that recently I've came across, like meeting with a lot of natural holistic practitioner, which is basically like you shared about the drug free, because
Mm,
like the assistant you have, even for me, at times we are so in tune to Like when there's a fever, we take medication, we take Panadol, and like for me, I grew up seeing like TCM, traditional Chinese medicine
Mm-hmm.
doctor, and for me, it works for me well, better than Western medicine. Like for me, I feel really bad, really groggy, really drowsy, and it does not help with the illness at all. But when I went for TCM, although definitely it's not fast, it's not really quick remedy, but it's, I would say, natural, because
Mm-hmm.
it let the body heal by itself naturally, and also with the usage of herbs, TCM herbs. So and after that, after coming and knowing more and more holistic practitioner, there's different like chiropractic. I didn't know that chiropractic is considered the natural holistic
Oh, okay.
practitioner. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's where the awareness of natural healing, because the community is really, I would not say small, they are very low profile, and
Mm-hmm.
also the awareness is not there. Like after maybe in the past 5 years, TCM pick up. That means
Mm-hmm.
it became normal, and you can get medical leave from TCM clinics, where in the
Yeah.
past it's not possible. And because
Oh.
you can see how much effort, awareness that TCM had come, and it takes big players. Like we have this Ma Guang, and I'm not doing advertisement, but Ma Guang in Singapore, they spend a lot of years, because Ma Guang used to be my client
Mm-hmm.
for advertisements. So I understand that. And even for organic products, organic skincare, all the organic stuff, 10 years ago, is there's no awareness. People like, what is organic product,
Mm-hmm.
organic food and stuff like that. But now, after 10 years of advocating, promoting, now you know about organic food
Yeah.
and organic product. But there's more to it, like what is the percentage, is it 100% and stuff like that. But at least the awareness is there. But
Mm-hmm.
like chiropractic, it has not been, I guess it's the way it markets, it's the way it's promoted in, especially in Singapore. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really widely promoted, I would say. Like the awareness, not just that. Like I heard of essential oils that you can use in natural healing. Even acupuncturists,
Yeah.
it's also a natural way. And there's a lot of different way. Even like yoga is also one of the way for you to heal naturally, which is like it opened up a lot of different areas, especially for
Mm-hmm.
parents. Because there's only, most parents will know that there's only one way out. There's only
Mm-hmm.
one option. When our kids get sick, we bring them to the doctor. They take Panadol, they take flu tablet, and a lot of medication, a lot of drugs, where it's not helping them. Like you mentioned, that it halt the process of them building up the immunity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing from you, and for you to share on the chiropractic, which is like a big myth to me. I've not known it for the past 10 years, although my daughter is 9 years old. And if we know that it's possible through the chiropractic way, they could help them to have the natural process of growing up, the building the immunity, and also alignment, and stuff like that. Also, especially for fever, which is a very common thing for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
parents. So maybe you can share with us. You share that you've been in serving the community in Singapore for the past
Mm-hmm.
13 years. So what are the challenges that you see for chiropractor in Singapore, that the challenges they are facing, the struggle they are facing, and maybe what's your take on it to move forward?
Well, I think I've been blessed because I've made very good connections with my patients.
Mm.
And so I still have people I work with that knew me before I was married, like
Mm.
before I even had kids. So I think the challenge is, if you're new to the community or new
Mm.
to Singapore, you're learning a new country, you're learning how to navigate, and then you're learning a new community of people to get to know
Mm.
culturally and whatnot. And a lot of times these doctors come and go every 2 to 4 years, and I found it takes at least 3 years to really break into that local market. And
Mm.
a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I'm sure you have a lot of expats." Even when my clinic was in Raffles Place,
Mm.
and I said, "No." And sorry to say, I actually don't want expat patients. I love my local community, and so I think you really have to be open to learning from the people that you're working with as well.
Mm.
My aunties were always giving me Hokkien and Teochew lessons and Mandarin lessons, and learning about the culture, because that way you're able to relate what it is that we have to offer on
Mm.
terms that they're going to understand. So that's the first one. And I think the other one I would be that when you first come here, you're usually
Mm.
working for a very big chain. And I appreciate they do business and they do commerce, but they're churning out new doctors very quickly, and these doctors don't have experience,
Yep.
and they're not necessarily being mentored either. And so unfortunately then they're just doing whatever they see, and they
Yeah.
don't have that chance to be unique. And that's where you're getting these marketing um, road shows or ways that are very similar, but they're not unique and not really telling the whole story.
Yes, yeah. And you touched on a very strong point, which is this is what we see, especially me being here for the past 37 years. Like a chiropractic has always been seen like road shows, and most of the time it's not a chiropractor that is doing the scanning or doing the assessment. From what I know, they are like promoter. They're just getting the
Okay.
job done. I do not know. Maybe someone can correct me on that. That they may be really chiropractor that's there stationed at the road shows. So but it doesn't seems to like after hearing from you, it just break all the myth. It just give me another perspective of chiropractic, and it's more than just what we know in our daily lives. It can help even more, especially for mothers. So what advice would you give for mothers who are seeking another way out, especially in chiropractic, for like treating their children and all that stuff? What is your advice on that?
I would say really be open to having a team of practitioners that you work with. So
Hmm.
definitely work with your pediatrician and ask a lot of questions. That's the big thing. I think
Hmm.
moms, because we're so new at it and it's a new job, we just take everything everyone says at face
Hmm.
value. But
Correct.
the doctor at KK compared to Tantok Singh, compared to Thompson are all going to say different things. So
Hmm.
just make sure you're asking a lot of questions. And I would encourage people to try something more natural initially, because the baby and the children's bodies are perfect for fighting,
Hmm.
and they can actually really heal on their own. And so we want to allow them that chance to try,
Hmm.
and before we sort of rush in and interject. And so if you don't know where to go or where to turn, ask questions of your practitioner. There's a lot of mummies groups online now,
Hmm.
places to be referred by friends. I find a lot of my pregnant moms come in because all their friends that were pregnant came to see me. So, usually someone that you trust is going to tell you a practitioner that will work for you. And then
Hmm.
also, ask your practitioner. It's like any normal doctor or eye doctor. You
Yeah.
want to make sure the person you're working with, that you're comfortable with them, because it may not be a fit for you, but it might be a fit for somebody else.
Yes. Well, that is a very very good advice, especially for the mothers.
Mm.
Especially trying out the natural healing way, naturopathic way, and also I, I guess like time has really flies, and I really want you
Yeah.
to share more about chiropractic, and that is also the reason why we've been talking about having a real event, getting all the different holistic practitioners to come on board to share on different options, the different views, different treatment
Mhm.
for a single maybe fever, or even for the like in pregnancy, giving birth, and a lot of different areas, especially towards motherhood. And
Mhm.
so how does the anyone connect with you, Dr. Sarah? How do
Oh,
they
okay.
then connect with you to find out
Yes,
more about chiropractic and
sure. Thank you. My chiropractic website is
mm,
chiropractorsingapore.sg. And so they can go on there. I have a lot of articles on pregnancy and chiropractic and
wow.
children and childhood illnesses.
Mm,
And also they can contact us via email on there as well. Or
mm.
if they forget that, you can always just look at drshara.com. So that also will lead either to the chiropractic service or the mentoring service as well.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So, for those who are watching and or listening, I've included the links to Dr. Sarah's website and also chiropractic website in the description below, so you can take a look at it, and I will also connect with her to find out more about chiropractic or any the natural way of
Mm.
healing, especially treating our children. So, last but not least, before we wrap up the whole show, there's a tradition which every guest get to post the question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So, Dr. Sarah, are you ready with your question of the day?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Yeah.
So in my experience, and I think a lot of other mummies would feel this, we are often looked at as detrimental because we're either going to have kids or we have kids. So
Mm,
if you're in a corporate job or you have a business, people always assume having children takes away from something that you can do.
mm.
So my question is, how has having your kids helped your business or your job?
How has having your kids
helped your business?
Helped your
Because
business.
yeah, so how has, once you've become a mother, how has it actually helped your business
Or your work.
or your work? Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a very good question.
Well,
Because
my first interview in Singapore, I sat across a table with two gentlemen,
uh,
and I was early 30s. And the first question, oh, well, when do you plan on having children? And I was like, well, that doesn't
instead of
impede.
qualifying.
Yeah, it doesn't impede my ability to work as a chiropractor. And in fact, all three children, I adjusted daily until I was 40 weeks, and one of them I went into labor in the clinic. So, yeah.
I guess there's always like it's something that we could address, and that's where I would want to share with a lot of mompreneur stories that is possible, they are capable, they are really superb in handling both their business, their work versus their motherhood. And that also the reason why I started writing my book and interviewing mompreneurs and share that story that it's possible that if let's say you cannot find a balance, especially in working for others, you can always consider entrepreneurship, setting up a business and doing something that you love. Like for you, Dr. Sarah, you just created a business because you are a testimonial from it. Um, because of your incident, you met chiropractic had helped you regain everything, and now you're paying it forward. And this is something that you're passionate about, and this is what I share with a lot of mummies out there, especially in the last workshop. In fact, was yesterday. I did the day before I did a workshop, and I'm so grateful that there's a lot of mothers. There's a message that they want to put it out to the world, especially towards mothers. Like there's a young mother that she has her struggles. There's a mother who's above 40. She has a struggle after she gave birth after 40s. So I say that both of you have a story, and we were talking about blogging about the message, and I'm so heartwarming to hear that they want to share all this on blogging, on documenting, so that all this information can help them. Like even for you, because your story of you going through the incident and having chiropractic that saved you, help you regain everything, and now you're paying forward. And I can see that this is the passion and this is the desire that a lot of mothers want to give it out, and also a message for a lot of people. And with your story, it definitely will inspire a lot of them who wanted to step up into the maybe entrepreneurship or even pursue their passion. So what is your last advice for the mothers who are sitting on the fence thinking whether they should pursue their passion or they should step into entrepreneurship? What is your last advice for the mothers?
Well, I'm biased. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18,
Mm,
and done both entrepreneurship with a job and then on its own. I would always say if there's a true passion there, you
mm,
have to try. You have
yeah,
to try. So not necessarily that you quit your job right away, but my biggest advice would be number one, definitely try, and number two, surround yourself with a good mastermind.
mm,
Other motherpreneurs, people who are a bit ahead of you in their journey, those that are around similar spaces as you in your journey,
yeah,
because those kind of like-minded individuals, you will have the accountability and also support. Because
yeah,
unfortunately, not everyone around you is going to understand the craziness
yes.
of being an entrepreneur.
Correct, correct. Especially as a mother, there's different challenges that the mothers are facing, and also
Mm,
now mothers nowadays because they are wearing a lot of different hats, different roles they have to play as compared
mm,
to our parents' era, our mothers, and even our grandmothers' era. So it's very very different now. But like you mentioned, like the mastermind people like been in the same background and
mm,
maybe in the same profession as you, and but they step into the business and how they do it is
mm,
you will be able to resonate. And that's also the reason why I've been interviewing mompreneurs, sharing them onto Facebook Live, and even 15 of them in my book, because I believe that and all of them come from different walks of life, come from different
mm,
background. Like for you, you are the first doctor, first chiropractor onto my show, and there will be more of such background, such profession that every mother get to resonate with, as long
mm,
as there's one story that this mompreneur story may be able to inspire you for you to spend more time with your children by stepping into entrepreneurship or even pursue your passion, that you are happy. The most important that you're happy, especially in your motherhood journey. So
mhm,
I'm really thankful for Dr. Sarah
mhm.
that you have come today and make time and share a lot on chiropractic. I
Thank
I
you.
believe that it will be another full episode to talk about chiropractic. But today
Yeah.
is really about you and about your story and how chiropractic help you. I've also known like that you became a chiropractor because you had incident and you were you are being helped using the
Mm.
chiropractic. So it's really thankful, very inspiring, and thanks for
Thank
making
you.
the time. And thanks for those who are coming on live and also who are watching the
Yes,
replay
thank
now.
you.
Thanks for a lot, and do share this around with your friends, especially mothers, of what Dr. Sarah has shared about chiropractic, how it can help pregnant mothers, even mothers with kids. So
Mhm.
thanks a lot, Dr. Sarah, for today
Thank you
making
very much.
time. Thanks for your time, and thanks for those who are watching, listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Mother Industrial Live Show. See you guys in the next episode. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sarah. Thank you. Bye bye.